Welcome to Velarcana's second live. In case you're new here, all we do is share mysteries of the unexplained. I'm Damon, the channel's commentator.
And I'm Amy, the researcher. And this is Arcana, the channel's mascot in training.
Tonight, we're going to share two stories. First, a murder mystery solved by a psychic.
And second, 4 men in the wilderness who claimed they were taken by something that came out of the sky.
After each video, we'll be back to answer questions about anything.
Yeah, questions about the videos or questions about us.
By the way, we just celebrated our second anniversary this last week.
Right, but please go easy on those $10 super thanks this time. The last live we had, I drank way too much water.
That's true. And someone actually gave $10 just to hear me use the phrase, check this out, in a sentence. Please feel free to throw all of those to me you want. But first, check this out. Here's our first mystery. Just before 10 p.m. on May 15, 1986, in a small home just outside of Albany, New York, a home invasion robbery ended with an elderly couple dead. Well, 2.5 years later, and over 1,000 miles to the south, a woman in a meditative state found herself experiencing those very same murders, as if she were the victims. In this video, we're going to consider the possibility that psychic powers just might be real. And to do this, we'll be looking at a murder case from the 1980s. Jacob and Dora Cohn were murdered in their home by an unknown intruder, and the police were stumped. We'll take you through how the detectives followed leads that seemingly went nowhere until they finally reached out to a psychic named Noreen Rainier, who, shortly after they met, showed them exactly who the murderer was. This case was fascinating because during one of the visits that the police had with Noreen, she dropped into a meditative state and then actually watched through the victim's eyes, first Jacob, then Dora, as they were in the process of being murdered. Jake! Well, after we discovered that, we reached out to Noreen and she shared with us exactly what it was like to experience that moment. Then stick around for our Fact or Fiction segment. There, I'm going to give you my 2 cents on this case, and then Amy is going to come on, and she's going to share scientific evidence that the brain actually changes during a psychic trance. So, this report begins, of course, with a murder.
This is your killer.
The place? Colony, New York. The address? 2 Undine Street. Here, in this modest little home. It was just before 10 p.m. on May 15, 1986. Marge had called her mother, to chit-chat, tell her about her day, things like that. But the phone call was brief, maybe 2 minutes, and then her mother just stopped, right in the middle of a sentence, and called out to her husband. Then there was a commotion, a scuffling. Then, nothing. Not even a dial tone. The call came into the police department at 9:55 p.m., and a few minutes later, Patrolman Fitzsimmons arrived at the house. It was dark and quiet. The side door was slightly opened, and it looked like it had been busted, so Fitzsimmons looked through the opening, and he could see a dark figure of what looked like to be a woman on the kitchen floor. Well, the killer could still be inside, so he waited. 2 minutes later, backup arrived. Officer Rinaldi pulled up, and the 2 men searched the house. They found Dora's body on the floor in the kitchen with a chair on top of it, all tangled up in the phone cord, as if she had been on the phone when it happened. Sticky blood was still oozing out of the back of her head from a gunshot wound. Further inside, they found her husband, Jacob's body, laying face up in the hallway. He had been shot in the face. Well, they searched the rest of the house, and it was empty. A little while after they stretched police tape around the house, Margie, Dora's daughter, pulled up. She was frantic, wanting to know what had happened. Well, of course, the police held her back, but she was in tears. Then, just 5 minutes later, Margie's adult son, Jimmy, arrived. Margie had called him shortly after the commotion, right after she had called the police. Well, being a good son, he held her and did his best to console her as they both wondered what in the world was going on, fearing the worst. From where they were, they could see that busted-in door, and the fact that neither Jacob nor Dora were anywhere to be found spoke volumes. While they were there, police got statements from both of them. Margie shared how she was on the phone with her mom when it happened, and Jimmy stated that he was having dinner with friends. Well, shortly after that, they discovered the horrible truth, and neither one of them could believe it. Who would want her mother and father, his grandparents, dead? It made no sense. The next day, the police launched a full-scale investigation.
There were probably over 100 names on the suspect list. All the neighbors were interviewed, all the alibis were confirmed. We looked at family, relatives. We tried and got some information from the daughter and the son to see if Jake and Dora had any problems with people or if there was any reason anyone would want to harm them.
While the detectives were searching the house, they found a bizarre newspaper clipping about a family who lived just down the street. Well, this was out of the ordinary, so the police interviewed them, but they were quickly ruled out. Then the police got a lead on a suspicious character who had been seen out having drinks with Jacob. This person, only known as Frank, was listed in the report as a hippie type about 40 years old, so the police began searching for Frank, and they were eventually able to identify him as Frank Rogg. Well, they met up with Frank Rogg and they found out that he had a pretty solid alibi, so he too was scratched off of the list. Then at one point, Margie shared how some mystery person had dumped a truckload of garbage onto her parents' lawn and splashed black paint onto their house one night before the murders. This lead also ran to a dead end. Well, eventually, all of the leads that the police had were chased down, and all of them went nowhere. Weeks turned into months, months turned into years, and then this case went cold. And just when it looked like it may never be solved, Detective Krolak received a rather interesting package with an unconventional request from Margie.
This is your killer.
It was mid-October 1988, over 2 years since her parents had been murdered, and Margie was flipping through the pages of the National Enquirer when she came across an interesting story about a cold case homicide that had eventually been solved. Well, it made her think about her parents, and as she read further, she discovered that the success of the case had been attributed to a psychic named Noreen Rainier. And the more she thought about it, the more she felt that maybe this psychic could help solve her parents' murder as well. So, on October 17, 1988, she made her way into the police station and she spoke to Detective Krolak. Detective Krolak was old school, and he really didn't believe in all of this psychic mumbo-jumbo, but it had been 2 years, and he was no closer now to solving the case than he had been when he started. So he took the magazine, and he told Margie he'd look into it.
With the news articles, there was the name of a Bronx homicide commander who had used her before. I contacted him, and he advised me that Noreen was credible. So I contacted Noreen by telephone. I was careful not to give her too much information.
Noreen listened to him, and then she gave him more references for him to call and check out. As we stated in the beginning of this report, we reached out to Noreen, and she called us.
So, Noreen, how did it go when Detective Krolak called you?
Detective called me, introduced himself as Detective Krolak, and he was working on the case, Jake and Dora.
I just told her it was a double homicide in Jake and Dora's names. She requested that we send some items of the victims.
Detective Krolak mailed Noreen a couple of personal items of Jake and Dora's. The idea was that once she received it, they'd speak on the phone again while she was holding the objects to see if maybe she could possibly pick up any information about the murder.
So Detective Krolak sent you a package, right? What exactly was in the package?
They sent me a box, and when I opened it, it had a dried blood over some glasses, and then a belt that again had blood on it. When Detective Krolak came in, I had already opened the box, and I had laid everything out to be ready to start as soon as he called. I had seen the bloody glasses from Dora, and the belt from Jake, put them separately so they wouldn't mess. I had meditated several minutes before my session. The box had been opened, but I started to meditate and program my mind. When the detective calls, I will be answering his questions as clearly as I can. I will answer all his questions the best I can. So I'm programming my mind during the meditation about what I'm to do. The phone rings, press the button, and lift the phone to say hello.
Noreen settled into a meditative state and then seemingly began picking up impressions of the murder scene. Lieutenant Krolak recorded the conversation and made a transcript. As he sat there listening over the phone, he was completely unprepared for just how accurate she was.
I see wherever this happened, it was close to the street. It was an older structure, and there's a stone building nearby.
Accurate, and the stone building correctly described the garage.
Something is wrong with the floor. It's a different texture.
Floor tiles were coming loose.
I see a man. He has a big nose and a round face.
She accurately described Jake.
There's a wooden door with a window beside it. Someone came in. There's a struggle. They don't have a chance. Jake! Jake!
Noreen correctly described the door the killers went through. Dora called out Jake twice. That's what Margie heard on the phone.
A man is gagging for blood.
Jake was shot in the face. The blood was running down his throat while he was dying. I made arrangements to fly to Florida.
This is your killer.
On December 6, 1988, Noreen answered the door and met in person two men, Detective Krolak and another man who had also been in on the conversation over the phone.
Two detectives were at my door. One is tall and thin with dark receding hair. The other was more husky, more blondish. He was Lieutenant Krolak. Had a really great smile. The other one never seemed to smile.
The other man that she was talking about was Detective Alan Rower. He worked with Detective Krolak, but he was also a forensic hypnotist. The plan was for them to hypnotically regress Noreen, making it easier for her to drop back into the scene of the crime. While in Florida, the detectives met Noreen more than once and had several sessions.
I had two theater seats, two here and two there, and a table between us. And they sat on that side, and I sat over here, and the tape recorder was between us. We stopped. Detective Krolak, once we became relaxed, asked me to go into my psychic mode. And then he asked me to be Dora. Tell him what I saw. Dora was sitting down, and I could hear more than one voice. I could hear her voice and another woman's voice. I don't know how I could do. There were two voices, but then all of a sudden, someone comes into the room, and she said, I know who that is. You've been here before. What are you doing here? Then all of a sudden, I hear her yelling for her husband. Jake! Jake, help me! And I'm looking in a house to try to find Jake. There's Jake. He's sitting down. He's reading a newspaper. He hears Dora yelling. He throws the newspaper down and he grabs something. I don't know what it is. It's long. It's big. He grabs something and he runs down the hall, and I can feel the bullet. He shoots me. Then all of a sudden there's silence. And then Noreen, I see her on the floor. I see her lying on the floor.
This session was rather intense, and so was the next one. Detective Krolak took notes, and so did Noreen's assistant, so we have a running transcript. The next scene is our rendition of what it might have felt like emotionally to go through this.
Noreen, become Dora for me. What are you doing when you're killed?
I'm on the phone. I'm talking to a woman. I don't know what she's saying. I don't know. He came in.
Who came in?
The man. The man that kills me. It looks like he's rushing in for some reason. He's agitated.
So, do you know him, Dora?
Yes, I've seen him before. But he's not supposed to be here now. What do you want? What are you doing? Why are you here?
Dora, what's he saying to you?
He's got something in his hand. He's coming fast. The gun is there. He's mad. I fall down.
Don't die on me.
I'm shot. I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
Are you dead, Dora?
No, I'm almost dead.
Dora, if you're dead, can you float?
Yes, I'll float. Then I won't hurt. I can see the back of the man.
In the next segment, Noreen remembers becoming and then dying as Jake.
This is your killer.
I want you to be Jake now.
I'm Jake. I'm breathing. I hear some noise. I get up.
What do you hear, Jake?
I hear Dora scream. Going to get something. Gotta get a gun. Gotta get something. A weapon. A weapon.
Why do you need a weapon, Jake?
Because I heard Dora scream. Heard a crash in the other room. Gotta get something. Maybe in the hall, near the door, there's something I can get. There's something long.
Who is it, Jake? Do you know him?
Yes.
Do you know his name? Is he a friend of yours, Jake?
I see the man. The boy.
Where's Dora? Are you still alive, Jake?
Barely. I see him going out the door. The door that he came in. Why is he trying to kill us?
Are you dead now, Jake?
Yes. I'm dead.
With the murder fresh in her mind, the detectives went back to their hotel, and when they returned, they brought 10 photographs of people that they believed had the weakest alibis.
I don't want to see the pictures, I told Detective Krolak. I want my hands to pick up the energy of who's involved in this case. Just put the pictures face down, and I'll go over and tell you which ones are involved. There's a lot of them here. I don't think they're all going to be involved. And as I put my hand over the picture and I didn't feel the right energy, I would just push that picture away, push it away. In the end, there was only 3 pictures left. So I took my time and went through each picture very slowly. Then finally, I just picked up one picture. It showed, I didn't look at it. I just showed it to him and said, "This is your killer."
That photograph that Noreen had handed to the detectives was of a man named Robert Skinner, and it was later discovered. Now, are you ready for this? That Skinner had actually made a plan to commit this crime with a man named Jimmy Mariani. You remember him? He was the man who showed up just minutes after the murder to comfort his mother outside of his grandparents' home. Well, with this new information, the detectives went back to New York and took a closer look at Skinner and Jimmy. Although he had a sound alibi, evidence showed that Jimmy Mariani thought that he could maybe make some money by robbing his very own grandparents. So he enlisted the help of 2 friends, Robert Skinner and Keith Snare. Together, the 3 of them planned out the robbery. They were hoping to get about $2,000 in cash. Police believe that Jimmy alibied himself by having dinner with a friend, while Bobby Skinner and Keith Snare wore masks to the house. The 2 men gained entry by kicking in the side door. Jake was sitting in the living room, and he heard the commotion, so he got up and grabbed a baseball bat and confronted them. There was a struggle, and Jake removed Bobby Skinner's mask, so Skinner shot him in the face. And since Dora was there, well, she had to be shot and killed as well. Ultimately, Skinner got 62 years, while Snare and Mariani each got 40. Now, I think we've got the right mics. Yeah, that's it. So, Amy has got the puppy, and I think we can see who's sending text message comments. No, what are they called? Live comments?
Comments, yeah.
Yeah.
Live comments.
Yeah. So, listen, Amy has got one shot of water coming from some lovely person there. I think it was Vess.
It's actually...
It's Vess, right?
4.
No, Vess is the only person that said it was for a shot of water.
Okay, good.
So
Okay, good.
the rest of them have got to chime in and say that's what it's for. Tell us, guys, can you hear us okay? Because last time these mics weren't working. We were coming through the computer speaker. Tell me that the mics are working. Detective Whiskers, I do love justice. Hey, Leah, what's up? How are you? Oh, my God, I got to get rid of that. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
Jeez,
gosh, hey,
this has
everybody,
gotta go.
somebody, give us a, okay, you guys are saying that I can hear you. I can hear you. Voice Beyond Time, Karen, Pammer, Dana. Hey, welcome. Before I forget, Noreen was amazing. And as I was watching that video, I thought about the times I spent talking to her on the phone.
I got to get you your water.
And and she was so sweet. You know, she said, "Amy, if you want to come visit me, I have files, and you can
That's
just
right.
go through them. You can just sit." And I was like, "Oh man, what I wouldn't give to just spend like 9-10 days looking through her files."
Is that too much?
Ugh. Nah, Vess, I owe you.
Well, oh, yeah, for me too. Hold on.
Yeah.
You guys remember this?
Damon, the man, the myth, the legend.
The man, the myth, the legend.
So, yeah, that part, actually getting to talk to Noreen more than once and getting to know her, super, super sweet soul.
You know, last time we had I think at this point we had 90 some odd people, and Too Corrupt was like, you got to do the lives because more people are going to come. And I'm like, no. I think that was a fluke. And so Too Corrupt, if you're watching, see, it's a fluke. Listen, if you're new here, all we do is share true stories about the unexplained. And that's why we have that banner down here at the bottom someplace.
Yep.
Are you ready?
All right. So we are going to cheers to our
Cheers.
anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
And to Vess.
Yeah, to Vess, because Vess is the one that, said to cheers.
Oh.
Wow. That's the first one tonight.
My eyes are watering.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vess.
Last time we started the live, we already had a couple shots of water first.
Yep.
So,
not this time.
wow. So, the voice of the internet. Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Rittenhauer.
So thank you
Happy anniversary.
for
Thank
all the
you.
anniversary wishes. We got to spend about a day and a half in Wilmington.
Yes.
This little girl did an amazing job in the car. She was not,
4-hour drive.
Yeah, she was not a holy terror or anything. Of course, once we got there, she was like, "What can I destroy?" No, I think she had a good time. She ran around like crazy. So it was fun.
So can you do this? Look through the messages or
Yep,
the
yep.
comments, and let's respond to some people.
Okay. Oh boy. All right.
The mics are working a lot better today, aren't they? Right, guys? Yeah. Remember, who was here on the last live stream? We are so horrible. We're so non-technical. It sucks. It's really, really sad.
They're saying happy anniversary. I love how you do the researching. Great voice.
Yeah, go
voice
back
of
go
the
as
internet.
early as you can and start there.
Okay.
And then come
All
back
right.
down.
All right. All the way back.
Just go back and see if there's anything we should address.
Let's see. So cool that Noreen came on your show. Yes, it was.
Yes.
Very, very.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah. Jerry's I've caught a live, actually live. That's great. Let's see. Damon, the voice, and the magical Amy. You said get your questions ready. You might want to give her a little piece of hot dog.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't think I'm going to have her in my lap next time, guys. Look
Yeah,
at how much she's grown.
Listen,
this is ridiculous.
We love her, but she's going to be... She's a border collie.
Huge.
She's going to get big. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have... So I'm going to need somebody to teach me how to do this. What I need to have like a little square on the video someplace, and then have a camera on her. So she can have her own little camera, right? And she can do whatever she's going to do.
Because she just
Because this is not... Next live stream, this is not going to happen. Here.
Let's see.
She is the mascot.
I'd like to. Okay, Detective Whiskers. This really isn't a question, but it says, I'd like Noreen to solve the missing case of the SWDR. So can you or somebody else
email us?
No,
right?
not email. I want her to tell us what SWDR is.
I thought she could maybe email that.
Oh.
So because if she says it now, we might misplace it.
Oh,
you are having a few sips of water.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Let's see. Happy anniversary. We were not away while the story runs. Do you want to explain that? I know you messaged it, but yeah.
So we are not technically savvy enough to have the camera on us while we're watching us, and you're watching us. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a camera on Amy and have her on the bottom part of the screen somewhere on the left or right, have the camera on me as the video's playing, right? And that way you can hear my thoughts, because I watch these old videos and I'm like, oh crap, gee, God, look at how I look. What did I say? Why did I act like that? So, yeah.
Yeah, so
But we're not away. We're definitely right there. We're watching it real time with you guys, and then we're like trying to comment, but also watch,
Right. So really, Detective Whiskers, you're the only one that, said kind of, something she said about, trying to get Noreen to solve that case. And so, if you could tell us what that means. And so far, I don't see any questions.
Anybody have a question?
We love the lives. Happy anniversary. You're growing. Love you guys. I'm from Florida. Oh, that's funny. I'm in Ohio. I was there for the first live. You should definitely visit St. Augustine and do the ghost tours. Yes. If you saw the short, what was it? Yesterday. So you're on the live, so we can kind of put you in the know here. So we were doing shorts.
Put you on the spot.
We were doing shorts that were either previews of Thursday's video, or they were what are called callbacks, right? So we would share a little snippet of the video and be like, hey, if you missed it or if you want to watch it again, here's the link. Well, we're changing it up because YouTube isn't really showing our shorts, as you guys have probably seen. This one I think was 9 of 10, which, maybe 200 views. That's just because YouTube got used to our shorts being only promos for our long form videos. Yeah. So they're like, we're not gonna push them out. So now we're just going to give you, little snacks, little nuggets, little cool mini mysteries.
Yeah, Amy's gonna find mysteries, interesting tidbits, paranormal concepts, to share. So somebody asked, and I can barely see it on the screen there, what type of questions are you looking for? This is your one opportunity to ask anything you want, right? Ask why we got involved in the mystery videos. Ask what we used to do for a living. Ask how in the world we got together and had a baby that is a canine. I mean, you can ask anything you want, really. I'm not saying I'll answer everything, but nothing's off the table. We're open people. We live in love. So we're not people that hide stuff. We try to be just genuine and live in the moment. So this is your one opportunity. When I make the videos, you can't ask, right? Because there's not a two-way going on.
So
now
Richard had two good questions. Which video was the hardest to get done, and which was your easiest?
Well, the hardest by far. Let me answer that, and you can answer the easiest.
Okay.
Put her on the spot. The hardest by far was the house on Lindley Street. Okay?
Yeah, Joe, if you're watching.
No, we love Joe. Joe's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows.
but-
He knows it was a challenge.
We had to fly to Connecticut. So we flew to Connecticut for the 50th anniversary of the haunting. And then we did the show from there, right? And we interviewed somebody that was directly involved. So you should go watch that. It's on. It's in season 4, I believe, of In Rope in our sister channel. You should definitely check it out.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. So I'm gonna. None of the videos are easy, but that's a great question, Richard. So I would say easiest, and this is only because everything came together. So it was the Scott Perry. I think it was our second video on this channel, where.
Can you guys see us? Oh, wow.
Our screen.
Never. I don't know. Our screen just turned into a ghost.
Oh
Not
my
really, but I mean the edges. It's technology. It's technology. Here's the thing. I think technology is gonna become just as paranormal as so many other things. It's like it's coming alive, right?
Okay. So anyway, I was answering which is the easiest. Again, it wasn't the easiest. It was the fact that it came together so well. So the Scott Perry video where he believes he was the reincarnation of a little girl named June, and he died in a flood in California in the 1940s. Okay. She's going to go for a minute because if she bites me anymore, I'm going to bite her back.
Listen, we love her. She is our mascot. By the way, if you haven't gotten any great merch with our mascot on it, you're missing out. We've got some puppy merch up there. We're going to take it down as soon as she gets a little older. So you might want to get up there and get the puppy merch before it's the mascot dog merch.
Right. So anyway, the reason why I'm picking that one as the easiest is because it all came together, right? Scott was available to talk. He made time to talk to me for hours on the phone. And then he said, you could get a hold of this doctor that interviewed me. That doctor, we actually drove to a studio off, not in our house, met with him. He interviewed with us. I talked with a woman in Australia who all she does is podcasts about reincarnation, and she knew Scott's case. And then, what was the other one? Oh, we got to talk to that wonderful historian in the area in California that knew, this guy knows more about the California floods than you would probably ever want to know. And they all were like, yeah, sure, I have pictures. You can have the pictures. I have documents. You can have the documents. So I would say that was the easiest just because everybody that I contacted answered me back and helped us with documents.
So would you agree that the the most difficult one was the Connecticut one because we had to arrange all that?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to disagree with her on the easy one, though.
Oh, okay.
So that was nice, what she said, and I loved it. It was a good show. But I would say the easiest one was the one I did about my own family, right? Because it's my family. So I was able to get the research done pretty easy. I remembered a lot of it. And then Mark, my brother, he came on the show and he kind of shared about it too. So yes, that's my thought. If you haven't seen it, you should. That is on this channel. That's the second video we ever did. The one I'm talking about, the easiest. And the one she's talking about is the third video we ever did.
Okay, another question. Have you all ever seen any UFOs?
That's a tough question because you're asking if I've seen something in the sky that I can't identify. And yes, a lot, right? I think what you really mean is, have I seen something in the sky that I can't identify that looked intelligent, but not necessarily common or man-made, right? Something like that. No.
Okay. Sarah, that was a great question.
Maybe when I was real young. I think I have a vague memory of something like that, but I don't think so.
Me, UFOs, no, because I can't see that far. Orbs, absolutely. and maybe we'll do a show about that one day. But absolutely orbs. Let's see.
Well, I do have to say this, and I don't know if anybody's going to ask it, but for anybody here that doesn't know, Amy actually saw her sister just after her sister passed away and before Amy found out that happened. So I know it's not an orb, but I thought that was insanely interesting.
Yep. And then I want to say their name because this is great. Voice Beyond. No, I'm sorry. Gunther Watson. How did you two meet?
Oh, do you remember?
I do remember.
I remembered well. So, both of us come from long relationships. She was in a relationship for 30 years, and I had been in a relationship for over 2 decades. And we were both, I was single. I was completely single. And she was going through the divorce, the separation or whatever. I think she was at a friend's house or somewhere. And I met her. I saw her at a gas station, actually. And I don't know, suave me. Somehow I got her attention. And I would like to say she came home with me that night, and it's been perfect ever since. But that's not true. She did come over.
Spread such scandal.
And it has been perfect. But I wasn't that good. I tried. But we talked for a second. I got her phone number, and it was history from there, right?
Yeah. And it was funny.
Around COVID time, right? Or right after COVID. No, it was right around COVID time.
I thought, he's just a jock. And then he started talking about quantum mechanics and mathematics. And I was like, wow, okay. Wow, okay. So we'll talk. Voice Beyond Time. Maybe, Vess, you could give this email to Voice Beyond Time. They are asking where they can contact me if they have stories, that we might be interested in. Amy at rope.media. So I'm going to ask Vess to type that out. It is also in the description of every video. So if you click on one of our videos and you go down to the description, where it says this video is about blah, 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 keep going. It says have a story to share. And my email is there. So great question. That's where you can find it.
And if you guys want to learn more about us, too, you can go to www.arcana.com.
Velarcana.
My dog. I think of my dog. Velarcana.com and learn all about us and our team, right? We're slowly building a team.
Yep.
But as far as the stories go, personal stories, we have found that a lot of people frown on them, like a lot of our viewers. Now, we like to break stories, so we're not against new stories. But when it's just a vague email with vague dates and stuff like that, our viewers are like, come on, give me some more meat. And Amy's really good at doing research. So we do have some really good stories that we broke, right? Some people emailed us and we took them all the way. But if you're going to email us, just know Amy's going to want to contact you. We're going to want to talk to you, maybe have you on the show. We want somebody to back up these things that they're saying so our viewers can go, oh, all right, I believe it or I don't.
All right. So Alberto Vasquez, do you guys have anything paranormal happen to you in your personal lives investigating dark topics? Yeah.
Yeah. So let me quickly go first. Couple things, right? Recently, you said investigating dark topics. A couple things. While we were doing the Lindley Street case, Joey always said, listen, when people try to, interview me or whatever, their sound goes out, their cameras go out, their lighting goes out. So I'm a very determined individual. I brought extra mics. I brought extra mics, just in case. I don't know. Just because it was a trip. It was a trip that we're taking. So that's the main reason I did it. I'm the kind of guy that has backups to my backups. Well, no doubt. No doubt. That's no lie. We had a few weird incidences with the sound at odd times. So that was interesting. But of course, so things in our past. Satan came to my house, right? When I was very, very young. Lucifer, right, from the Christian Bible, I guess, or the Hebrew Bible, came to my house, and I did a whole story on that. It's our second video. You should check it out.
Oh, you said check it out.
You should check it out.
I have had, and I don't want to go into it too much, but I have had, when I'm researching certain cases, an increase in the number of, I'll just say shadows. Some people call them shadow people. Some people say apparitions, whatever it might be. But, and I haven't told you this. Wow. So about 5 nights ago, I've never had an experience like this. I woke up and I was laying on my stomach.
You're pulling my leg.
No. Don't
You're
be
going to
true.
give me goosebumps. Oh, my God.
I'm laying on the bed and I'm looking around like, this isn't right.
What?
I'm laying the wrong way, but the...
was this for our anniversary when we were at the beach?
No,
This is
it
before
was
that.
before. But the nightstand was still by my head, but my head was not at the headboard side of the bed.
No way.
I'm not lying.
All
I'm
right,
not
all
lying.
right. So have you heard of sleep paralysis?
So
You think you're awake, you're really asleep, and you're seeing stuff that's not there.
So I've heard.
She's going to flip me out if she says I got up and went to the bathroom in another universe.
I'm not going to go into too much of it because it's still freaking me out. But what I did, I was laying there and I almost thought, I'm going to wake him up. I'm going to wake him up because I can't get out of this. I'm in a position. Now I'm like about to cry. I'm like, I can't move and this isn't right. I'm not in the right place. This isn't right. The furniture isn't right in the room. So anyway, I was like,
freaky.
No, absolutely not. I am going to count to 3. I'm going to close my eyes. And when I open them, my head is going to be at the right end of the bed. That nightstand and the picture of my parents will be exactly where it was when I went to sleep tonight. And I am not messing with this right now. And I did it. I closed my eyes. It was like 1, 2, 3. And I opened them and I was back righted. But it was truly like I was nauseous. I almost felt dizzy because it was so disorienting.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Wow.
So, anyway, yeah, what you learn about your spouse when people have
when you have a mystery channel on YouTube.
Michael Wilkinson, did Maureen describe the sensation of dying vicariously through her victims? Great question. So she did. She doesn't like to go into it because she says it is painful. She especially recalled, I can't remember now if it was Jake or Dora, but almost the choking on one's own blood and not being able to breathe. So she does feel that pain. But she also has a helper when she does this work, or when she used to do this work. And once she sees Noreen getting too deep, the helper has certain phrases to help Noreen, like, nope, now you're coming back. Now you're in Noreen's body, because it's very upsetting and also painful. And Noreen would tell us that after a session like that, like she couldn't do a session where she was Dora and died and then Jake and died. They had to come back over a period of several days, even a week, because it is way too physically and emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
So.
Do you want to take her into the next room and close the gate?
Yes, and I know.
Because I can see her biting your
she
fingers.
is. I know where I am with the questions. I'll be back. Come on.
While she's on a break,
Great.
listen to these messages. If you go to, what is it? I want to sound like a commercial guy, but I can't think of what I'm supposed to say. No. Go to buymeacoffee.com. Become one of the supporting members of our channel. Or go to, where do we sell products? Fourth Wall. Go to Fourth Wall and pick up a mug that looks exactly like Arcana did about a month ago, 2 months ago. She's growing fast. All right, back to Amy.
Do any of the stories freak you out? For me personally, I would say they don't freak me out, but some touch me very, very deeply. The Joplin tornado one, it was children. That's probably part of it. It was children, and it was tornadoes, which I have lived through. And also, you guys all know the Cokeville Miracle one. I was a mess. I bawled while reading the book. I bawled while talking about it. So I don't get freaked out. It is an emotional response.
Yeah. None of the videos freak me out. I love the stories. I love, I get a bad rap because people say, stop being such a negative Nancy, right? You're always so skeptical at the end of these videos. I'm just the kind of person that, it's like Carl Sagan said, with extraordinary claims comes extraordinary evidences, right? Not proofs, but evidences. So I'm constantly going, okay, this is very interesting, and I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not so pompous to say that. I simply offer different suggestions, but I really love sharing the stories.
Yeah, I would agree. So StarHuman7, thank you. I love that you are not AI. YouTube is flooded with AI now. Aw, thank you. Yeah, we...
we're fighting the AI war, so we may lose, and the channel may just, not the channel, the YouTube just may become all AI. But if you want to get behind a channel and help us fight, get into this war and support us and help us beat those stupid AI voices and, help us do it. It's not going to be easy, but we got to stick together.
Yeah, it isn't. Oh, David Lancaster, this is a great question. I'll let you answer this one.
All right.
How long were you working together before you got married?
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Well, so interestingly, right? We started this in, I think, 2022, right? I think we started it then with our first channel called True Stories Only, or TSO for short. If you really want to see something that will just make you want to vomit, let me know, and I'll throw one of those videos up one day. Horrible work. We had no idea what we're doing. Zero idea. We were working together then, right? And we got married then in 24, right? So we worked all through 23 and all through 25, all through 23 and halfway through 25. So about a year and a half before we even got married, and then we continued. And the funny thing is, in Rope, if you watch Rope, we got married while we started Rope. Excuse me. And one of the videos, or one of the two of the videos, we show our wedding pictures and stuff in the video.
Yeah, if you guys stay, maybe we'll after the next video, maybe we can share the gifts we got each other.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so
really
this
cool.
year we got some really cool gifts. We got one apiece. I gave her, I think, I'm gonna cry. You guys want to see me cry? Stick around after the next video, and it might happen. So some of you know that I'm very sentimental. I'm one of those tough guys, pretty tough, but I'll break down sometimes at the drop of a dime. I don't know why.
All right. So I love how you guys are talking to each other. I'm not ignoring you. I'm actually reading through comments just to see if there are any other questions. They're talking about UFOs. They're talking about being RH negative. They're talking about AI and how AI is kind of scary, and some people are like way scarier than paranormal.
Let's fight AI together.
Alberto Vasquez, what do you think you're doing in another parallel universe?
I'll answer that one. Who is it?
Alberto,
I hope you're still on. We get to the comments as fast as we can. And here's the cool thing. Be at the next live, right? Be here, because sooner or later, these lives are going to take off. And we will not be able to answer them all when we have 100,000 viewers on a live. Right now, it's a cozy little place, right? We can all talk, and I can answer every single comment. So what am I doing in a parallel universe? I run a very successful YouTube channel. I have about 50 million subscribers. We tell great stories about true things that have happened. And we have just the best fans. We have a lot of love. I met Amy decades earlier. We have children together.
Not fur children, real children.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
in another
right.
universe.
Yeah.
We met right out of high school or in high school. We became lifelong soulmates. That's what I'm doing right now in another universe. And don't get me wrong. I like who I am. I like this life too. It's been fun. I like challenges. So I hope that answers your question.
And I would have to say ditto, but also I'm swimming with sharks and I'm finding the megalodon, and we're doing a video on the megalodon.
Oh yeah.
In a parallel universe, and
Yeah.
I'm actually
we have two YouTube
Scuba
channels,
diving.
right? We have one that's paranormal like this, and then one that's all about the ocean, the sharks. Yeah.
yeah. Great questions, you
That's what we're
guys. I
doing.
love answering these. These are Do both of you believe in past lives?
You go first.
So this is funny. When I was maybe in the 5th grade, I wrote like a 25-page paper, I remember, on reincarnation. And I don't know why, but I was reincarnated as a rooster. What? It made, like, I look back on it now and I'm like, what in the hell was I thinking? Like, what? That's like the worst thing. But anyway, I have no idea. But anyway, I remember though, my teacher and my parents were not real happy about that paper. Like, okay, this is totally make-believe. Well, as I got older and read a lot more and met a lot more people, I started to develop what I believe really happens, that our souls have a continuous journey, that we live, we die, I don't know. I don't use the term reincarnate. It's I don't know. To me, that one feels a little bit weird, but our souls have many experiences. So I guess I would say yes, reincarnation, but past lives, more so our souls are eternal and we have many experiences.
Before I answer that question, everybody, look who just entered the building. Look over there. Look down at all the commenters, guys, and look at Rick11369. Everybody, look at that guy. Let me know when you see him. He says, "Past lives, maybe." I want to tell you a story about this man. You guys like my stories, so check this out. We were running TSO, and I think we had 10, 15 videos up. We had maybe 220 subscribers, 250, maybe. And Rick comes along, and he starts messaging us. Nobody had done that really. We didn't know what we were doing. And I was out walking, and he said he's thinking about. I said, "Why don't you become a subscriber?" He's like, "I'm thinking about it." Come to things push comes to shove. He's probably our oldest subscriber from that channel. Followed us all the way through Rope. Followed us into this one. He's watched our growth, and not only that, but shortly after he became a subscriber, he became a supporter, a financial supporter, and he has been supporting us every month since the very, very, very beginning. He's our first financial supporter, and not our first subscriber, but basically because there's nobody else watching us from that channel. He's kind of like our first subscriber and our first supporter. And I just want to say, Rick, thank you.
Yay! And earlier, Too Corrupt chastised you again. He's like, stop talking smack about your previous channels. We loved them. And so, Too Corrupt, we love Too Corrupt. He's like, no, Stop it right now.
Whatever.
I'm not messing with you.
Too Corrupt was there too. There's been a few people from that channel, but Rick was one of the very, very first ones. We actually did a video for him. We did a video on mermaids.
That was crazy.
He's like, I've never seen a really good mermaid video from anybody. So Amy did some investigating, and we put together a mermaid video. As far as past lives, real fast, I had a near-death experience. Some of you guys know that. I saw some things. I'll share it one day, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh, man. Oh, he's just going to leave you hanging. But, yeah. Amy, from Miss Harris, to Amy or Damon, have any of you guys ever seen a ghost? If you have not watched Miss Harris, our video on Rope, or it's called Paranormal Reports, called The Cokeville Miracle. I don't know if that's the actual title, but it's about Cokeville. I tell a very, very personal story.
Personal story, yeah.
About seeing.
Don't say too much about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away, so let me just
Right.
say this. She cries in that video because if something you would call paranormal, you would call ghostly, touched her very deeply. Go watch that video. It's on. It's funny. It's Paranormal Reports or Rope for short.
All right, this one you have to answer. Voice Beyond Time. Do you feel that you started here on this planet, or do you feel like you started somewhere else?
Yeah, again, I had a near-death experience, and in that, I saw so many things that would answer that question. I got to share my near-death experience sometimes. It's very personal, though, so I'm kind of staying away from it. But it took away a lot of what-ifs, and it helped me see reality a little bit deeper. Interesting coming from the skeptic, right?
Yeah, very. All right, so I think we've caught up on all of the question.
Oh, great. Now we can play the next video. Oh, Mr. Lister. Daniel Lister is still on the road. That's fine. Now, listen, guys, you do not have to sit through the next video, but we wanted to give you, your money's worth tonight. And I know you're paying nothing, but that's not the point. You're giving your time, right? You're giving your time to us.
Yeah.
So the next video is very, very interesting. It is the first one was the psychic, and this one is kind of a UFO thing. So it's like timely, right? So I'm going to put that one on. If you stick around, the water shots are still open. If you guys want to do $10 water shots, that's great. Nobody needs to hear me say, check this out, because I'm probably going to say it one more time. So I don't know why you guys like that, but I will. And so right now what we're going to do is I'm going to take a second and look funny because I have to manipulate the screen. And
Tech giant.
yeah, wow, no. And I'm going to put the video on. When we're done, we will share at the close of tonight's live. We'll share what we got each other for our anniversary. We'll share a little bit of information about that, and we'll answer any more questions if you guys have any more to ask. And we will be watching the next video with you guys. So we're not going anywhere.
No.
We're getting up from the studio, and we're going into where the big screen is, and we're sitting down, and we're watching the exact same video you're watching, and I'm able to respond a little bit. So, all right. Anything you want to say while I'm doing this?
While you're watching one about
Sorry,
these,
I gotta figure out how to find it.
that's all right. Well, about these four men and their experience, I think we were one of the first channels. I actually got a hold of the gentleman that changed his story.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, kind of interesting. This is a classic alien abduction, but with a twist, because one of the four men
Changed his story completely.
changed his story.
But the other three didn't.
Correct.
So without any further ado, and this is going to be crazy. Let me see if I can do it this way first. Hold on. Let's see if I can go. It's going to go black. You're going to hear me talk, but I think then you're going to see. I think you're going to see the video after that.
Okay. Well,
In 1976, 4 men returned from the Allagash wilderness claiming that they had been abducted by aliens. Later, one of them began having odd encounters with strangers, and then an unmarked helicopter flew over his house. Well, at some point, he began acting very differently than the others. And in 2016, he completely changed his story. And he said that, no, there had not been any abduction, that it had all been just one big lie to make money. What exactly is it that makes a person change his or her story about personal knowledge of an extraordinary experience? And when that happens, are we just supposed to accept that that person's original account was the lie and now he or she is telling the truth? Well, I'm sure you know that accounts like these have been taking place for centuries, and it's never been an easy thing to sort out. Once a person takes back his or her statement about something so extraordinary, just about everyone from that point on says, "See, I knew it was all just one big lie." A good 300 years before this Allagash wilderness experience, a middle-aged man discovered that there was something off with the current view of the universe. We've all heard of Galileo Galilei. He's now well known, and his ideas are universally accepted. But it wasn't always like that. During his time, everyone thought that the Earth was the center of the universe, but he suspected that everyone was wrong. He believed that the sun was the center of the universe. This idea had been pondered before, but unlike others who had their suspicions, Galileo had created a device to test his beliefs. On a clear night in January 1610, he aimed this device, a telescope, at the planet of Jupiter, and for the first time in recorded history, a human saw that Jupiter had moons. And then over the next year, he also discovered that Venus had phases like that of a moon. For Galileo, this was all the proof that one needed. A few years later, in 1632, he published a comprehensive book titled Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems. In this book, he argued that objects in the sky were not as everyone had thought that they were. While most people thought that this man was just crazy, some people started to ponder. Well, the powers that be just could not allow that, so they began to harass him. But he just would not shut up. So in April of 1633, he was ordered to turn himself in. At first, he stood his ground, but then, on June 22nd, 1633, he was taken into a room and he was shown all sorts of ingenious, torturous devices. And he was told that they would really rather not have to use these devices, and he could clear all of this silliness up if he would just recant his ideas. So he did what I suppose most people would do in his situation, and he publicly cursed and detested those horrible lies that he had fabricated about the sun being at the center of the universe. He made a statement and he signed some official documents, which were quickly distributed to the public. Then he received a life sentence, and he was of course banned from spreading any more of his lies. His sentence was commuted to house arrest, and he died about 8 years later at the age of 77 as just some crazy old man who had once lied about some crazy ideas of some things that he had claimed that he had seen in the skies. In this video, we're going to explore the possibility that there just might be a little bit more to aliens and alien abductions than what people think. And sometimes some of the more convincing stories are either never told or they're quickly recanted because of pressure that comes from behind the scenes. And to do this, we're going to be highlighting the story of 4 men who went canoeing deep in the Allagash wilderness. One extremely dark night, their canoe was chased by a beam of light, and then they were suddenly sucked up and whisked away to a brightly lighted examination area of sorts. We'll share their experience, and then we'll share how once they returned, one of them began having odd encounters with strangers, and then he saw a black unmarked helicopter fly over his house. Finally, we'll share how many years later this man completely changed his story. even wrote a book about how they had all lied for money. Then stick with us for our Fact or Fiction segment. There, I'll give you my thoughts on this case. And then Amy is going to come on, and she's going to share some pretty interesting information about the anatomy differences that the men said they noticed in the hands of these aliens. So, this story begins just as a bush plane was getting ready to land on a lake deep in the Allagash wilderness. It was a crisp Monday morning, August 22nd, 1976, as a tiny propeller airplane touched down onto Talos Lake in the state of Maine in the heart of the Allagash wilderness. This area is so remote that the only way in or out is either by helicopter or bush plane. The people on board included the pilot and 2 passengers. The passengers, Jack Weiner and Charlie Foles, were in their mid to late 20s, and they were full of excitement. They and 2 others had planned a 2-week canoeing trip that would begin here in this remote lake, and the plane that they had chartered was so small that it could only transport 2 at a time. So Jack and Charlie unstrapped the canoe, loaded all of their supplies, got on board, and then paddled toward the shore as the pilot flew back and returned with their 2 companions. Before long, all 4 men, Jim and Jack Weiner, twins, Charlie Foles, ex-veteran, and another man named Chuck Rack, were all setting up camp on the shore of the lake. The first night was full of excitement. In the morning, they would all be embarking on a once-in-a-lifetime adventure that few people ever get to do. Well, the next morning, all 4 of them cleaned up the campsite, loaded the 2 canoes, and headed out into the water, 2 men in each canoe. They paddled upriver all day long, making it all the way to Chamberlain Lake, and it was just after dusk when they landed on Mud Beach. When they arrived, they found other campers with a campfire already blazing. And while the 4 of them were unloading their gear, one of the people from the other campsite pointed out into the night sky and asked, "What's that bright star over there?" Well, Jim, Jack, Chuck, and Charlie all looked up.
Directly across the lake, we saw what at first appeared to be an intensely bright star, 3 to 5 times brighter than the next brightest visible star.
This was interesting and definitely out of the ordinary, so Jim took out his binoculars to get a better look.
It was just floating above the treetops. It didn't seem to be moving in any direction. And I looked at it through the binoculars for maybe 15 to 30 seconds, and it suddenly just winked out from the outside edges inward. It just went whoosh like that, and it was gone.
The men pondered. Maybe it was a weather balloon, or perhaps a helicopter that had turned off a light. They watched for a moment to see if maybe it would reappear, but it didn't.
The light extinguished itself from the outside edges, inward to the center. I don't really think much about it, except that I had never observed a light implode like that before.
The incident was quickly forgotten as the men continued to set up camp and make plans for the next day. However, they all said that looking back, that moment seemed to be an ominous preview for the terrifying experience that they would have just 2 days later. Wednesday was uneventful. Well, I guess that's a bit much. This was, after all, the wilderness adventure of a lifetime, and the outdoors and the fresh air were just amazing. Amy read 2 books, gathered notes from several different websites, and watched countless interviews with these men. And before things turned into the extraterrestrial nightmare that it became, they experienced stunning scenery and had breathtaking moments that in themselves would have created memories that would have lasted forever. And as you can imagine, it wasn't always easy. Sure, there were times when the paddling would go so smoothly that they couldn't help but just enjoy being right out there in the middle of the water. But there were also times when the men felt like they weren't making any progress at all, and the paddling was worse than any workout that they could do in any gym. But all 4 men agreed that just being there, away from the hustle and the bustle of everyday life, and experiencing this connection with nature, that in itself was absolutely exhilarating. Thursday, August 25th, they paddled to Eagle Lake and they stopped at the Smith Brook campsite. It's very remote. When they arrived, there was no one there. Well, they ate the last of their food and then they decided that they would try night fishing. Now, in this area of the world, there are no reference lights of any type. The men reasoned that if they were going to paddle out into the darkness, they'd need a way to find their way back. So they built a huge campfire.
That far north, at night, it's pitch black. And we had a nice, good-sized fire going. Not too large that it would get out of control and burn the forest, but it was borderline. It's a fairly good fire that would have lasted 4 hours, bare minimum. And then we struck out onto the lake just as it was getting dark.
The fire was so large that I was worried that it would start a forest fire.
All 4 men climbed into one canoe and paddled out into the water. Charlie paddled from the front as bowman. Chuck took up the helmsman position at the back, and the twins sat in the middle. They were about halfway across the cove, about a quarter of a mile from shore, when Chuck saw something over his right shoulder.
There was this large round globe of light that looked exactly like what we had seen 2 nights previously. Since I was in the rear seat and the object was over my right shoulder, there was a moment when I just sat there with the paddle in my lap, knowing that I was the only one who saw it. Without taking my eyes off it, I drew attention to the object by exclaiming, "That's a hell of a case of swamp gas."
Jim and I both turned around and saw what Chuck was commenting about. At a distance of maybe 200 to 250 yards away, rising out of the woods was a very large, bright, pulsing spherical light. It was not making any noise at all.
Fascinated and completely perplexed, the men turned the canoe so they could all get a better look.
When the light got just above the treetops, it stopped rising and just hovered. It obviously wasn't the moon or a star or anything like that.
They said that the object was at least 80 feet in diameter and spherical. And for a bit, they were all just transfixed and intensely curious. It most certainly wasn't the swamp gas that Chuck had just joked about. But what was it?
You could see a fluid pulsating over the face of the object as it changed color from red to green to yellow, white.
The color changes had a fluid quality to them, as if the object were like one big ball of plasma. One of the men described it as being like a thick sauce that was just beginning to roll to a boil.
It lit the treetops up like daylight and was absolutely silent.
The men discussed it, and at first, because it was so far away, they did so somewhat intellectually. What is it? Maybe it's a weather balloon. Maybe it's some type of new stealth technology that the government is toying with way out here in the wilderness. But then Jim came up with an idea. Why not try to signal the thing with the flashlight? Which, of course, was a mistake. All 4 men were in the canoe, watching this huge bright light rise up as if it were coming out of the forest. It just lingered there a little bit above the treetops, and then they did something foolish.
After looking at it for several moments, we decided to signal this thing. And that's when Charlie picked up a flashlight and squeezed off a message.
It moved along the shoreline about 15-20 feet above the trees. I was holding a large flashlight, which I then flashed at the sphere. 3 short, 3 long, and 3 short flashes.
As soon as Charlie lowered the flashlight, the sphere began slowly approaching the canoe. Chuck and Charlie had very different reactions.
I couldn't believe that we were really going to find out what it was.
Well, when the light started coming towards us, my curiosity was satisfied. And I just dropped the flashlight. My only thought was, get to the shore and never look back.
The men started paddling toward the shore as fast as they could, but being on the water, their progress, of course, was painstakingly slow, and in no time at all, this object was nearly over top of them. And then suddenly, a beam, maybe something like a searchlight, shot out from the object and hit the water directly behind them, and then advanced toward the canoe. As it got closer, however, Jim could tell that it wasn't exactly just a beam.
It was like a tube of light and the walls moved, like dust particles do in a light beam.
this tube of light caught up with the canoe, and then, one at a time, each man was somehow sucked up into the light. The next moment, all 4 men found themselves in a brilliantly lighted examination area of sorts. They said that it was so bright that it hurt their eyes, and they found themselves powerless to move. To make a long story short, they said that they were all examined one at a time, first in a standing position and then lying on a table. They said that they were in a type of mental dullness, as if they were all doped up. 3 of them would be helplessly confined to a sitting position on a bench, while the 4th one was poked and prodded. Later, the men had fragmented memories of the event.
I was afraid. It was cold like a doctor's office. They put a panel over my chest and scraped my arms, chest, legs, and thighs. I looked over and saw Jim, Chuck, and Jack. They were sitting on a bench just outside the room that I was in. They were just sitting there, just staring with blank faces. I kept thinking, we'll be back in the canoe. We'll be back in the canoe.
It was like they were directing us with their minds, and we didn't have any control.
All of my senses were dulled. It was very difficult to maintain awareness. Beings looked almost like people, but they weren't people. They were skinnier, thinner, almost like they had exoskeletons, but they weren't bony. They looked like bugs. They had bug eyes. There were no pupils, and they didn't blink.
One of the things that I found most interesting was how they described the aliens' hands. These creatures had no thumbs, just 4 fingers, but these fingers weren't anything like human fingers. Somehow they worked independently of each other. After going through this, each man drew illustrations of their experiences. Many of these drawings can be found in the book that's titled The Allagash Abductions by Ray Fowler. Jack Weiner drew this picture that we have here in the studio, depicting his recollection of these aliens' hands.
They had 4 opposable digits and an articulating pad in the palm of their hand. When they would take you by the arm, you would feel these 4 fingers and the powerful grip.
They got right up in my face, and they were silently explaining things with their eyes into my head. They were saying, "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We won't harm you." They said, "Just do what we say. Just do what we say."
This experience went on for a while, but it did finally come to an end. And then the men found themselves back in the canoe, not far from shore. At first, they were groggy and disorientated, but then their thoughts all swam back to the present moment. Strangely, however, when they gained their presence of mind, none of them remembered what had just happened. Well, they all paddled to shore, and then they turned around and they saw the light. It was still floating there in the sky. So one of them took out the flashlight and SOS'd it again. But this time, it didn't respond. And a couple seconds later, it started to drift away, and then it completely blinked out of existence, only to appear again a little higher in the sky. The men watched as it did this a few more times until finally it got so high that they lost track of it in the myriad of stars above. At first, the only clue that the men had that something strange had just happened was the fact that the fire was almost out. It should have blazed for hours, and the men puzzled. They had only been out on the water for 30 minutes or so, right? How come the fire was almost out? Well, they would have loved to have puzzled over this for hours, but they were exhausted. So they organized their camp, and then they went to sleep. The next day, they continued their canoeing adventure, and when the 2 weeks were up, they all returned home. And although later, with a little help, each one would begin to remember this terrifying experience, one of them would eventually change his story completely and claim that the whole thing had just been one big lie. Two years after their trip to the Allagash Wilderness, Jim Weiner had a pretty bad fall, and as a result of that fall, he began to have these terrible nightmares. In the nightmares, he would see these horrible creatures, and eventually these nightmares began to feel more like memories than nightmares. Well, before long, Jim was seeing a psychiatrist, and then he was put under hypnosis. And as a result of all of this, the other 3 men were also put under hypnosis. And as you can imagine, they all started to remember what had happened to them that horrible night. Ray Fowler is a researcher and author who's best known for serving as the director of scientific investigations for MUFON, and he even authored one of their field manuals. Well, he heard about this case, and in 1988, he got directly involved. Using his connections and his research skills, he began to try to make sense of the information that was coming out of these hypnosis sessions. Not long into his investigation, however, the men began having these strange experiences. Chuck Rack lived in a very isolated area where people wouldn't just accidentally find themselves. However, during the last few days of October 1989, just as Ray Fowler was revving up his investigation, Chuck reported encountering several trespassers on his property. The first trespasser claimed that he was just out joyriding, and the second one drove off before Chuck could get to his car. But the third one was pretty interesting. Chuck had ran out to do some errands, and when he returned, he saw a man coming out of his driveway holding what he thought was maybe a metal detector. Chuck confronted the man and asked him why he was on his property. The man said that he was investigating Class 6 roads, whatever that means. At first, with all of these random visitors, Chuck thought maybe he was being targeted for a home invasion robbery. But as the man drove off, Chuck got a look at his plates, and he said later that they reminded him of government plates, and possibly even from another state. While the next day, a black, unmarked helicopter buzzed ominously close over top of his house. So he gave all of this information to Ray Fowler, and Ray Fowler worked to get to the bottom of it. There really was no way to check out the first couple of trespassers or the helicopter, but the third one was a different story. He had said that he was investigating Class 6 roads, and apparently he was using a metal detector. So Fowler called the State Division of Transportation and Maintenance, and he spoke to their legal department. He was told that there was no such thing as a Class 6 road, and that the state would definitely not be checking any roads with a metal detector. Jack Weiner had a couple of strange experiences as well, but he never encountered a person on his property, and he never saw a strange helicopter over his house. Only Rack claimed to have had those types of encounters, and interestingly, it was only Rack who eventually changed his mind and said that the whole thing had just been one big lie. In September of 2016, 40 years after the men had claimed to have had these experiences, a 2-part article was published in a newspaper called The County. In the article, Chuck Rack spoke with reporter Jessica Potilla, and he said that the Allagash abductions was just one big lie.
The reason I supported this story at first was, well, I wanted to make money.
Chuck said that although they did witness an unidentified flying object during their canoeing trip, both on the night of the alleged abductions and also 2 nights earlier on Chamberlain Lake, he had no recollection, nor had he ever remembered being taken on board an alien spacecraft. He said that it wasn't exactly a hoax as much as it was just really good storytelling. He went on to talk about discrepancies in the story. He said that the fire wasn't nearly as big as they had made it out to be, so there couldn't possibly have been the loss of time that they had claimed. He also said that they were all using copious amounts of drugs during the trip. Chuck was the only person to have ever changed his story. Charlie Foltz said that Chuck was lying about lying.
Some of the logs we put on the fire were about the diameter of a leg. I would say at least a good 10 inches in diameter, easily.
Charlie said that there was absolutely no drugs.
We bought an 8-pack of beer when we picked up all of the supplies for the canoe trip. We each had 1 beer at Telos Landing the very first night, and we each had 1 beer at Fort Kent the last day of our canoe trip.
This abduction story became well known early on, and the 4 of them were asked to appear on the Joan Rivers show, where they all took a lie detector test. Interestingly, and maybe a telltale, they all 4 past. But perhaps most interestingly was what happened after the show.
Charlie Foltz and I were visiting Jack and his wife Mary at their house in Vermont. Well, one morning, Mr. Rack arrived at the house and declared he had a plan to make $1 million on the Allagash case. His proposal was that all four of us refute the professional handling of the case by Raymond Fowler, thereby creating controversy, which was, in Mr. Rack's mind, exactly what the media and the public crave and pay for.
Jim, Jack, and Charlie all voiced their disgust with Chuck's ethics. They said that they wanted nothing further to do with him. Over time, however, Chuck seemed to just make more and more trouble for the group and the UFO community in general. Things got so bad that eventually he was all but 86'd from MUFON. Then, in 2023, he came out with his own book titled The Allagash Truth. In it, he of course claimed that the whole thing had been just one big lie, but strangely, he also made a crazy accusation, seemingly in an attempt to discredit Jack, claiming that Jack had, now check this out, ordered a hit on a drunk driver who had almost, but didn't, kill Jack's wife Mary in a car crash. Well, if his book is to be believed, then the claims of the abduction was just one big hoax, and one of the people involved was a murderer. If taken seriously, well, that certainly would discredit the entire story. So, were these guys abducted in the Allagash wilderness in 1976, or was it just a lie? You know, I mentioned that all four men had taken a lie detector test on the Joan Rivers show, but what I didn't tell you was they also took a lie detector test before that, before everything got all hyped up, and the results were interesting. Jim, Jack, and Charles all showed no deception, but for some reason, Chuck's came back inconclusive. As Amy was putting this together, I looked over her shoulder and I glimpsed a couple of the interviews that she was watching. One of them was of Charles Foltz. Now, I am no clinician, but if he was sitting across from me, I don't think that I would have any reason to doubt him. He sounded honest and truthful. You know me. I am skeptical at heart, and I'm not sure that I believe that the men were actually abducted. But after learning the information in this report, I can't believe what Chuck to say either. During their abduction, as we pointed out, the men claim to have noted some differences in the anatomy of the aliens' hands. Well, this intrigued Amy, and she looked into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So, what do you have for us today?
Well, I was thinking about the drawings the men made of the aliens, and specifically the hands. Something about the aliens' hands must have really made an impression on these guys. And then it got me thinking about our hands and humans being the apex predators on this planet. And I thought, what makes us the apex predators on this planet? Well, yeah, the first thing I found was that most people think that it is our brains. And they say that, you know, humans have big brains and that makes us the top of the food chain. Well, that's true, but we don't have the biggest brains on the planet, right? Elephants have much larger brains than humans. Sperm whales have much larger brains than humans. So then I got into this idea of body brain mass ratio. Well, that's a mouthful. And I found that there are a couple of animals that have a very similar body brain mass ratio to humans, and those are dolphins. Probably nobody's surprised about that. But also this animal called the tree shrew.
The tree shrew.
The tree shrew.
What is a tree shrew? That sounds like a mythological creature. Are you sure it exists?
I'm sure it exists. And you're right, though. It does kind of sound like a mythological creature. Well, it actually looks like a squirrel. It's a very small animal. So then, of course, that made me think, well, what do scientists say? If you ask scientists, well, what makes humans the top? And pretty much the consensus is that it is the human brain in tandem with, guess what? The structure of the hand. that puts us as the apex predator on Earth. And scientists go on to say it's, if you think about it, humans are able to manipulate their environment, to make tools, to improve their life, to create and use technology. And so all that goes to our brains working in tandem with our unique hand structure. I found that very interesting. Well, of course, I dug a little bit deeper, and I found this paleontologist. Her name is Madeline Boehm, and she and her colleagues have been studying this relationship for years. I found this really cool article in Discover magazine, and here's what she and her colleagues had to say about this. The more skilled our ancestors were with their hands, the more successful they were, and therefore, the higher the survival rate of their offspring. And so advantageous adaptations in hand structure prevailed as natural selection took its course. The evolution of our brain and our anatomy advanced in lockstep. And I found this fascinating, right? Without the structure of our hands, we wouldn't be the apex predator here on Earth.
Right.
Okay, so then I thought a little bit more about these alien hands and the size of the brain, the size of the head that people always draw when they say, they encountered aliens. And it got me thinking, like, whoa, okay. So if our structure of our hand, right, with our, people say 4 fingers and opposable thumb, and our brains put us at a cream of the crop, literally, what does a hand structure that's like 4 finger thumbs, what advantages would that have over the human design? Charlie, I think, mentioned the grip of the aliens, like when they would grip his arm. And I thought, oh my gosh, that had to feel so strange.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got to ask you, like I always do, what do you think about the story? Do you think that the 4 men, so we have two questions here, right? The story could be 2 ways. Do you think they experienced this? Or do you think that they lied about it and then Chuck came forward with the truth?
Wow. This one is a doozy. As far as the abduction goes, I'm at a 50-50. That's just my personal opinion, though. Absolutely personal opinion.
Yeah. So you're on the fence with this one.
I really am. Not about did they see something? I do believe that they saw something that was very strange, orb-like, spherical, not of this world.
Well, okay. So do you think then when they were out in the canoe and they looked up and they saw this light, do you think it was coming toward them and they were paddling back to shore?
I do. Yeah.
So it just stopped and decided not to do anything with these creatures?
I don't
Canoers?
know. I don't know what happened. It was like the more I read, the more I watched, the less convinced and more convinced I was of everything and nothing. That's the best way to summarize this case for me.
Wow. Well, thank you again.
You're welcome.
The journey to create this YouTube channel has been the biggest challenge of my life. When we first started this, silly me, I thought, well, how difficult could it be? I mean, what do? We're just going to share some true stories about some strange events. I couldn't have been more wrong. I wanted to speak compellingly, but genuinely. I wanted to include all of the pertinent facts without overloading the reports with trivial information. I wanted to tell these stories interestingly by adding in sounds and media, but I didn't want to overwhelm the viewer. And I expected to do all of this, creating a brand new feature-length report each week, and it just being Amy and myself. I know, it's crazy. Consequently, when I look back on our earliest work, I cringe. To me, some of it is just horribly bad. However, the information itself is compelling. And early on, we did a story about aliens who live in Earth's oceans and have a serpent as their symbol. It's a very interesting story. It's the Filiberto Gardenias case. In the video, instead of Amy and I having our sit down at the end, she actually calls in and provides additional information that way. And it's incredibly cringe. We thought by doing it like that, we would be providing this extra information in an entertaining way. So if you can put up with a little cringe and maybe, I don't know, watch it on double speed, you might enjoy it. If you'd like to see it, it's here. So I have a question for everybody that stayed to the end.
Okay.
And I'd like you to leave a comment, seriously. What is your favorite type of report that we do? Right? We do alien, we do ghosts, we do conspiracy.
Cryptid.
Yeah. So what's your favorite?
And we're back. Hold on. I got to get...
Probably going to have to.
Oh, wow.
All
right, so...
All right, you get a little hot dog and then you have to leave. Oh, isn't that gross?
Gotta
Feeding
change that.
a dog a hot dog? Just kidding.
Why did you say that? Hold on, guys.
Nice.
I'm my own tech guy.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I took a couple of screenshots of questions. But before we get to those, I think, well, do you want to get the gifts first? Or do you want to...
No. I want to do... I
question?
have one gift here.
Oh, okay.
And she's got one there. We're going to do the gifts at the end.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a reward. I mean, if they want to stick around to the end, then you can see. We just had our second year anniversary. We went to the beach, so we just came back yesterday.
Okay, so I took a couple of screenshots of questions as they came up. All right, Nava Panda. You two seem in sync. Do you ever experience thinking the same thing at the same time, dream of the same thing, or sense anything, only to find out the other sensing it too?
Go for it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. How many times have we been talking about something? Like maybe we'll hear or hear an interview, or I don't know, now I can't think of an example. But then we'll both start saying the exact same thing. Like we were both thinking the same thing after hearing somebody discuss, I don't know, whatever it might be.
Yeah, we found that we think quite a bit alike. Hold on, there's something bugging me here. I don't even know if I'm going to do this right. Ah, I got it. Something you guys couldn't see. We found that we think a lot alike, right? Now we have enough differences to enjoy each other. You know, she believes some things, I believe some other things, but we are insanely in sync.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Especially we'll have an idea about the company and we'll be like, oh my gosh, we were just both, kind of saying the same thing. Like, hey, let's do this next. Yeah. And I do find it interesting as far as, you just mentioned that you believe some things a little bit more than I do. Kind of the aliens, right? This particular video is a really good example because I think I went on camera and was like, I'm not really sure I believe. And a lot of people are like, how do you not believe 4 guys all passed this lie detector test?
Yeah, but you did say at the end that you really believe they saw the light was chasing them. You did say you really believe that. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So I just want to add a little bit more into that. For 50 years of my life, I had experienced connections, friendships, family, but until I met Amy, I did not know what love was. I mean, I thought I did, and I guess I did, right? So if I never met Amy, I would have a definition of love, and that would have been amazing. I think love is amazing. But I met Amy, and it just blew that out of the water. And so I think that's a sign that she's my soulmate. Mm-hmm. That we really are two sides of the same coin.
Mm.
$10.
Oh my gosh.
This is not for water. Nudge, nudge.
Oh no. All
right. Well, let me get some water going on here, Mr. Rittenhauer. This will be her second shot tonight. Now, you guys, listen. It was funny last time, okay? Because I think you guys had her take 5 shots, and that was crazy.
That's the most I have in a month. The second question. What has been your favorite story? And have there been any stories you found too dark to bring to YouTube? Gosh, what was your favorite story? Man, that is so hard. Because I am the kind of person, well, the rabbit hole, that whole phrase is, I guess, made for me because I'm just weird. Like, I can find the mechanisms of how a sewing machine works interesting. Like,
Yeah, me
so it's hard to answer which was my favorite because I really can, and it's not just being gullible, it's that I love to learn and I find interesting things. Since I've been doing this work, I have learned so much about the ultra-dimensional creatures, demon, what we all call these things, and also this consensus that these are all the same things, right? So aliens, Bigfoot, demons, there is a large group of people who believe that is all one phenomena. It is not separate. So I'm going to have to think on that. I can't really think of what my very favorite one would be.
This might change her mind. Probably not, but it might. So in the early days when we were running TSO, True Stories Only, we were in the hardware store. And I was pushing my videos to everyone. And she'll tell you, I'm like the ultimate salesman. I'm not afraid of anything.
Right.
And I'm running up to people. I'm going, hey, have you heard there's an amazing YouTube channel? And it sucked, right? Too Corrupt. I'm sorry. It was great. It was a great channel. Even though it was all fuzzy and it was like 420, right? 720p or whatever.
Don't say 420.
Even though, yeah, 720p. Sorry. and it was the sound quality was horrible, right? And even though it was all fuzzy and there was, we didn't know what to say, it was great. It was a great show. Anyway, I'm pushing it to everyone, right? So we're in the hardware store, Home Depot, and I come up to this guy and I'm like, so we're talking, right? And he was younger than I was, but he acted very refined. Mm-hmm. And the more I talked to him, the more freaked out I got because he was perfect, right? He was like a movie star or something. He had no blemishes. There was no wrinkles. I couldn't see any freckles, and it wasn't like I was looking. It's like we're talking for a while and like I just couldn't stop going, whoa. Every hair was perfectly in place. And he was dressed in the kind of clothing that you don't wear to Home Depot, right? He looked like he just stepped out of his Rolls Royce. Anyway, push comes to shove. He asked us if we know if Bella Quiche ever was ever seen out in the daylight. Right. That was a question. We had no idea who Bella Quiche was. We had no idea. And this actually happened. He kind of vanished. Well, he didn't vanish, but he walked away or something, and we left the store. And when we left the store, oh, by the way, he said he did not want to subscribe to my channel.
It's like, no thanks.
We left the store. It's at night, and we're getting into the truck, and this guy comes out of nowhere, and it's an empty parking lot. Like he was a ninja, dude. He was quiet, and he says, "That's when he asked us, and the time it took us to write down Bella Quiche." Right, we had to turn around and get a pen out of the glove box and stuff. The guy was gone. He was gone. So that kind of freaked us out. We actually put that away for a while. You cannot have. This is special water.
You are not 21.
Dog's trying to get water. Anyway, so we put that information away. We didn't even think about it until much later. And then we actually started looking into it. It freaked us out. And we did a story on it. Now, the good news is we reproduced that story in rope. So you can go watch it if you want. You can hear the whole experience. But it is still a little slow. It is still a little bit slow because it's not like the last 2 seasons of Rope are pretty good. We finally got it down. We finally figured out the speed of how to do this. But back then I was like, and so in Home Depot, not quite that bad, but Anyway, that probably is my favorite story because we're kind of in it, right? It's really about Bella Quiche, but we're kind of in that one because who was that guy, right? Who was that guy? We never did find out. So right. I don't know. Some people say he was a vampire. I don't know, but it was weird. He did just vanish in that parking lot.
Yeah.
You got to take this shot for Rittenhour.
Okay, Rittenhour. I'm going to need it with you. All right. Let's cheers to everybody on the live. I love all of you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Cheers. We have to cheer.
Joy.
Why is mine so full? I'm sorry. I was making so many noises. I am so sorry that you guys had to listen to that. God. Okay. That was a great question, by the way. The second question was, have there been any stories you found too dark to bring to YouTube? I will just say absolutely.
By Rick. I see Rick's leaving.
Oh, bye, Rick.
Bye, Rick.
Yes.
Thank you for being on so late.
And not too dark in that I was too scared or Damon was too scared, but too dark in that we couldn't tell the story appropriately without including some really horrific things, right? And so when you have children involved and when you have self-harm involved, and that can't be separated from the story, it's just, we choose not to do certain stories. So that was a good question. Again, not because we're too scared of it or anything, but because it wouldn't be appropriate to tell it how we would have to tell it.
Yeah. So I like sharing information that make you think outside of the box. Science seems to think they have it all figured out, right? Sean Carroll, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and several others that I just detest me even to say their name, right? They know everything, and the rest of us peons have no clue. And they only believe in atoms in a void. So I like sharing the concepts that help us go, maybe there's more than what science thinks. What I have a problem with is when we start getting into the human indecencies. It's really tough, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of stories that we could tell, but they would involve, children, horrible men, and I don't want to spread that kind of darkness.
Yeah. Yep. Joe Landry said hello. Sorry he's late. Joe, you'll have to rewind.
Wow.
We were talking about you, actually.
Yeah,
positively.
we were talking about you earlier. And if you stick around, we're going to share the gifts that we had given each other for our second year anniversary that just passed a couple days ago. So stick around.
Pammer was really funny. She's like, Amy, I'm with you. I find everything interesting. And then she said, well, not golf. Me too. We are definitely sisters.
I miss playing golf.
Rabbit holes happen. Absolutely. All right. So I was just looking for any other questions. I don't see any other. Oh, wait. Amy Vesikovenko. Amy, what are your thoughts on CERN and possible dimensions being open?
I love that topic.
Oh, Damon, Damon needs to answer this because he actually was the one who said, you need to look into CERN. She is so bad, y'all. I know. She's teething.
Who asked that?
Moxie.
Yeah. So we've done a few different videos on that.
Stop.
We did a CERN video. What was it?
We've talked.
Some kind of.
It wasn't on the Teeter one, was it? Was it in John Teeter?
Maybe.
Because my favorite part of John Teeter was finding that VIN number. How freaking cool! All right, I got.
So no, it wasn't in that. It wasn't in that. If you haven't seen our John Teeter video, you need to watch it. Amy is the kind of person that finds information you cannot find anywhere else. So, John Teeter drove a Corvette back in time, right? And then he took a truck forward in time. So I was thinking that means that there's two. Currently, there are two Corvettes of the exact. They're the exact same Corvette, right? Because it went back from the future. Amy found it. Okay, so you need to go watch our John Teeter. You know, there's a lot of people that do great shows, right? AJ, what does he run? The Y-Files. Mm-hmm. So the Y-Files, they do great work. I love the Y-Files. He did a John Teeter. Good show. Mm-hmm. You need to watch ours. You need to watch ours, and you're gonna go, oh wow, I think now I know John Teeter. But there was a couple of videos we did about CERN. I can't remember.
I can't either.
We've done so many, and we've had a couple shots of water tonight.
Much water.
Thanks, Rick.
But so in our recent video on the Robesville Manor, so in our video, the Robesville Manor, the gentleman who is a metaphysician, it was like, wow, what do you do? What's that job? Anyway, he talks about this geomancer, which I found absolutely fascinating, and how they find portals and close portals. And so specifically about CERN, I don't know that they are doing anything that would cause a portal to open or a rift to happen. But the more I read about geomancers, metaphysicians, the earth, ley lines, all of that, I am curious to learn more about kind of these openings where, well, we would say where creatures can kind of peek through the veil, or we peek through the veil at other creatures.
Yeah, I agree. What anybody else? And I want to make sure sorry, the water's hitting me. I get kind of mushy brained.
So somebody said science is just a fancy word for magic. 100%.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I thought you would like that.
Or a non-fancy word for it, right? Layman's terms.
Right. Angel's Fury. I shared a story with Damon, and I never got to share it with you, Amy. It was hard to share. I don't know if Damon told it. I may email you if I get the courage. Okay. Yeah, I would love to hear it. And I will tell you.
I would love for you to email it.
So when someone emails me, I get a lot of emails from people who are like, I just want to tell you, I want to get your thoughts. Sometimes people send me a picture like, what do you think this is? Just they're not asking. They don't want us to do a show on them, and that's absolutely fine. Just emailing us doesn't mean, oh, now we're going to tell your story. No, absolutely not. We would talk to you for a long time and make sure we get your permission before we ever shared anything. So,
yeah, and if you watch our stuff, you'll see that there's a lot of times we're like, we know more than we're saying. We know the address of that place, or we know the man's real name. For instance, the very last video that we just did, we know the person. We know little Billy, right? So Billy, the one who got those magical powers and was able to, create wealth from nothing and, push people with the wind. We talked to the guy. We know the guy.
Oh, we just picked up the book he sent us. He wrote us a really great note.
He signed.
It was so cool.
He signed his book for us. To his two best friends. I forget what he said, but it was great.
Yeah.
You'll never hear us tell you his name.
Nope.
So if you want to share information with us, you can share it, and we're not going to put it on the show unless you want us to. And yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. So, Too Corrupt and Lady Serafina are talking about you can message now on YouTube. Too Corrupt said you can message on YouTube, And Lady Serafina is like, wait, what? Like, how's that? Well, do you guys remember for like, what, 4 days? Damon was answering comments with his voice, and that's disappeared. Do any of you remember that? Did you get a message from Damon or I with a voice recording? Because we used it.
We're trying to get people to stick around for the next video or something. And I was like, hey, guess what? Check this out. There's going to be a great video coming up. It didn't do anything. I think we contacted 1,000 people, and 4 people showed up.
Yeah, Tara Janes. Hey.
Hey, Tara. Haven't seen you in a minute.
Yeah.
Welcome.
John T.
And Tara, stick around because we're going to be sharing the anniversary gifts we got each other in just a minute.
Yes. Very, very interesting. Okay, I'm just quick question, Amy or Damon off topic. Do your videos have to run it past YouTube first? Another question, are some videos ever rejected by YouTube? Okay, good question.
Yes, and yes. Every single video that we do has to be ran through past YouTube. Every single one. Now, they're very, very, very strict. The way they get around, billions of people taking their videos and showing it to them is they have a list that if we were to print it out, it would probably be that thick, maybe a little bit thicker, in rules, regulations, and things that they allow and don't allow for YouTube partners. Now, if you just want to get on and throw a video up there about your family or whatever, they're very lax. They don't care. But if you're in the partner program, which we are, then you have to abide by a lot of rules. All of the music that you hear in our videos has to be ours. All of the imagery that you see in the video has to be copyright free. There are certain languages. There are certain words in the English language we're not allowed to use. One of them starts with an S, and it means when someone goes on to the next world by their own means. Can't say that. There's a lot of rules, a lot. So we have a couple different times. One, we posted a video. We thought listen, she reads everything, and she reads it very, very intently, right? And she writes everything down. So we're in compliance. But we put up a video, and it was rejected. It was rejected, and we didn't know why. We went back and forth. Come to find out, it was because we had a small clip in it about the Twin Towers falling. And it was just on the street, looking at some firemen talking about, yeah, it's crazy. That was it. No death, there was no death, no craziness.
No blood, nothing, no.
They wouldn't tell us. That's another rule they have. They don't tell you what it is. And we're like, why is this rejected? Well, if we told you, then you would know what it was. And we can't do that. Because then you would figure out how to get around it next time. We're like, that's not our style. No. We just want to comply. So it took us 2 days and edit after edit after edit before we finally complied.
We thought it was a gunshot sound. We thought that's what it was. That was not. So we took the gunshot sound out and we posted it again, and they were like, "Yeah, no, it still doesn't comply." So we did all kinds of things. So then I finally came in and I'm like, "Look, reading the legal documentation. It's like page 926, subsection D-FZQ. You can't show footage of the aftermath of a disaster." So
no, not a disaster, like a terrorist disaster.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
it could be like a hurricane or something like that.
So like with Cokeville, and I know we keep bringing that up, but like with Cokeville, we decided that we wanted to do that story justice. And so we said, you know what, we're not going to monetize it.
Yeah, we pulled it out of the YouTube. We pulled it out of the partner program, and we just shared it ourselves. So if you guys want to see something funny and something stupid, go watch it, because we do our own commercials, right? We still do commercials, but then it's all about one of the commercials. We're at a Mexican restaurant, and she's like, I want a drink or whatever, and we should get it in one of our mugs or something like that.
The waiter played along. It was so great. He's like, what do you have? was
That's
awesome.
right.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
want a coffee, which at a Mexican
Yeah,
restaurant,
that's right.
no, a margarita.
Buy me a coffee. That's right. Trying to send people to our buy me coffee.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, you want to help us fight this AI war? How many of you guys? Let me ask you guys a question. I've been answering them, so you guys get to answer too. So get your fingers ready to type. How many of you guys look around for a good mystery channel like ours, and you find one, and it sounds pretty good, and only come to find out it's all faceless. You come to realize it's just an AI voice. It's a good mystery, you know. It's like, yeah, I'd like that. But then you kind of get bummed out, right? Because it kind of feels empty. How many of you guys have done that? Yeah. If you've done that, consider getting behind us. Not just financially, right? If you want to go to buy me a coffee, that would help. But just really get on board and help push this channel, right? It's us against the AIs. We're humans. I'm a human commentator. She's a human researcher. We do incorporate a little bit of artwork, right? She'll get on and use Canva. I'll try to get some video going. But we don't just blindly tell AI, make a video. No, we get on there and we try our best to create we'll tell AI, we'll say, hey, we need a typewriter of this type or of that thing or whatever to help enhance the story. But you have a human commentator. You have, when we do quotes, it's all by human people. It's all by humans. And Amy's a human researcher. So join us.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Pammer. She's so great. She said $9. I don't want to make Amy drink.
I love that.
Thank you for your support. I love it. Thank you.
I love you, Pam. Thank you.
You know, this is part of the okay, so I love our people because they're curious, because they're amazing, because they're just a loving community. But somebody was, messaging like, I wish I had friends like you guys. You seem really cool. And Lady Seraphina's like, well, you do. Welcome to the family. And so
that's right.
I thought that was great.
So listen, if you're the one that said that,
yeah,
get the Discord, right? Because we're on Discord all the time, and we go back and forth with our Discord family. Tell them, Lady Seraphina, tell them we're on Discord, and we'll go back and forth, and we'll talk. We even do a phone call every Sunday, right? Where you can get involved if you want to help push the channel. That's the reason for the conference call. We get on and we talk about ways that we can push the channel. Yeah.
And I'm seeing quite a few new names here. So Damon was talking about no AI, and I just saw Rittenhauer made a comment, and so did Lavastad and Lady Serafina and Vesica Vinco. And I'm thinking, wow, all of those people have done voiceover work for us, right? So like in this last video where you saw the 4 different men who were in the Allagash, well, we had voice actors like To Corrupt, like Vesica Vinco, like Lady Serafina. Yeah. They are people who have subscribed to the channel and said, yeah, you know what? I love that you guys don't use AI. If a part ever fits, I'm happy to give it a try. So if that's something you're interested in, Ves, I know, has dropped our Discord a bunch of times. You guys also know Velarcana.com. The email is all over the place in every video, it's everywhere. But if you're ever interested in helping us out by doing a voiceover, drop us a line. Let us know.
Yeah, there are a lot of ways to help us fight. Sorry, it's you guys had us take 2 of these tonight. It's your fault.
More monster.
There are ways for you guys to help that without being financial. Right. We're fighting the AI war, right? Humans over artificial intelligence. Help us win. B, volunteer for a voice, right? I like to tell true stories, and we like to show real quotes. These are quotes that were really said or written down. So email Amy at rope.media. Amy at rope.media. Say, I want to do voice. I want to read a quote. Not only will you really be helping out the fight against AI, but also you'll be entered into a contest. And we've had the contest going on for 3 years in a row now. We've had 3 winners where we send them a trophy. If you want to see the person holding the trophy, go to Velarcana.com. And I think it's under the at the top. I think it says "Want a Trophy" or something like that.
Yeah.
Trophy voiceover contest, and you can see all the rules. There's not really a lot of rules, just honesty, love, stuff like that. But I would love that. So please lend us your voice.
And next week, there is a chilling. Literally a chilling moment where Rittenhauer says a line, and Damon's editing and playing it. I'm like, I'm gonna have a nightmare about this tonight.
Yeah,
but it's really good because he's got a really low voice and.
Yeah, Richard Rittenhauer. You think my voice is good? Oh my God, this man has got a deliciously deep voice,
really deep voice,
much deeper than mine. Anyway, he doesn't get credit for it in the video itself, because it's not like it's a quote from some specific person.
Right.
It is the ghost and what the ghost says, which is a very quick line, right? And a laugh. And the laugh is sinister. You've got to see this next video coming out Thursday. And when you hear that laugh, you're going to go, oh, crap, that's crazy. And that was Rick Rittenhauer.
Yeah, I can just see Pammer's comment. It's going to be like, well, thank you very much for that. I'm not going to be getting that out of my mind for a while.
He makes that video scary. You got to watch it. You got to watch this next video. It's scary.
You know what would be cool? To make that a ringtone for somebody.
Yes.
Somebody
that'd be
you don't
great.
like.
Yeah. If I was better at technology, I would play it for you right now, but I can't because I don't. If I play it through the air, you're not gonna hear it. You need to hear it come through the speakers, perfectly edited. It's amazing.
Yeah, and Lavastad just said, voiceover work is so much fun straight out of Hollywood. And I'm telling you, Damon's a perfectionist, right? And so if you say, oh, sure, I'll help you with a voiceover, please don't think it's going to be a quick thing. Lavastad was like, all right, take number 236.
Don't get scared and then not contact us. One step at a time.
Right.
We are trying to win the AI war, so we do need to be really good at what we do. But I want it more on you. But yeah, I mean it's a little bit of work, but I think it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's what it is.
And posterity, right? You'll be able to tell your kids, your grandkids, you'll be like, I was in that video. And if we ever hit 1 million subscribers, and if you believe that we might, wow, right? You're going to be able to tell people, I did a voice for those guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys.
All right, it's getting late. Are there any other questions? I don't want to shortchange anybody.
Right. I do not have any more 10 shots of Monster. Well, okay, what you don't know, Lady Serafina, is in this, I poured Monster, but what was already in the cup was a little bit of Red Bull from earlier. What I call it trash punch, right? It's like, a little bit of Diet Mountain Dew, a little bit of Diet Red Bull, now some Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be up for a while, but that's okay. I have a book to read, so.
I'm going to sleep. Actually, I have insomnia, so. All right. If there's no more, then the moment everyone has been sticking around for, you want to do that?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to go first because her gift is better than mine. And when you see her gift, you're going to be like, oh, my God, that's amazing. So I'll be as quick as I can, but you got to hear the story. So, oh, God, I'm going to cry. Mother. Hold on just one second. I'm stupid with memories, right? Especially certain memories. All right. So, she's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, hands down. And very early on, there was a song that I dedicated to her. Sorry. And God, stupid me. It's by John Bowden. It's not the one. There's a girl that sings it too. But has anybody ever seen the movie About Time? If you've ever seen the movie About Time, it's with that ginger-haired
I don't know the actor's name, but
English
he is
kid.
great.
So good.
Great.
So good at
The
what he
whole movie
does.
is
Yeah, it's
incredible.
amazing. And it's with the girl that played in the Marvel Universe series as Dr. Stephen Strange's girlfriend. Anyway, God, I'm trying to fluff it up so I don't get stupid. There's a song. There's a song. How long will I love you?
I'm
Right.
gonna cry.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
She's tough. How long will I love you? And in the song, basically, it says forever, no matter what. I dedicated that song to her a while back, and we watched. I introduced the show to her, the movie. And it's a fantasy movie, but that's not why I liked it. I don't really like love stories, but that one I did. And for when we got married, that was our wedding song, right? How long will I love you? And you got to play it. You got to go find it by Bowden. Anyway, so for her anniversary, this is stupid. What I did is I had this made. Now this is raised. It's like embroidery, kind of. I believe that's what it was. It's like cloth, right? And it is. You'll see it's in the shape of a record, but if you look close, all the way around, starting at the outside until the end, is the entire song. So you would have to read it like you would play a record. It's stupid.
It is so cool.
Let's see. This is what I got her. Isn't that just ridiculous?
No, it's amazing. I absolutely loved it. When I opened it, I was like, I'm gonna cry because yeah.
So I love her so much.
Isn't that the best gift? Absolutely amazing. All I did.
Oh, okay. We shared mine first because hers is truly more amazing than mine.
No, it's not.
Wait till you see what she did. This is a mind blower.
No, it's not.
All right, babe, you're up.
So I wanted to. I know that Damon is very sentimental. And so I thought, you know what? I want to start a tradition where we are going to have a whole bookshelf of photo albums. And so this one is called Damon and Amy Year 2. And I don't want to show every page. We can't show every page. But I just picked, so I put on there the story of us. And it starts just with pictures of us. I think it says, honey, let's start a YouTube channel and call it Velarcana or something like that. But it just goes through, this was last year's anniversary right here. So last year we went back to Iowa where we got married. And so I thought, well, we got to start there. And then I just put in pictures from a couple of trips, just family time. And then if you want to go to like the last couple pages, you guys probably know who's on the last couple pages. You know, we adopted, right? So, that was, April, for Damon's birthday. We adopted little Arcana. So, So every year it's something that I want to do. I want to keep that tradition alive by creating a year full of memories. It was really funny though, you guys. Okay. So I love doing things like that. I love being creative. And so the first book I created, it was like, okay, you ready to check out? Yep. I'm ready to check out. And I was like, whoops. That's gonna cut into the travel fund. That's way too much, right? So 97 pages, not in my price range. So I really had to pare it down. But it was really fun because I got to look back through all the great pictures of us and good times, great memories.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Mm-hmm. We love you. We really do.
They hear her barking.
Yes. Well, it's past her bedtime.
Yeah,
we usually put her to bed around 9:00, and she's used to that.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight, for asking all the great questions, for loving on each other, for just engaging.
Yeah. How many want to do this again in about 2 months, something like that? Same way, right? We come on, answer questions, show a great mystery, answer some more questions, have a few shots of water, chill with y'all. If you like that idea, give me a thumbs up. If we get enough thumbs up, we'll do it again. If we don't, then we'll get the message.
Okay, and those of you telling me to get another dog, you need to stop right now.
Yeah,
she needs a playmate. Honestly, I actually did think about that. I was like, oh, maybe they would play together.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I love my dog.
She is. Have a great night, everyone. Absolutely. Hands up. Damon and Amy are the best. Heart. Yes, definitely. Yes, yes. We appreciate you. Yes. Next week would be good.
Tara Jane. I like Tara Jane. Tara Jane, I love you and I miss you. Sometimes I message you on Discord. I'm like, hey, how you doing?
Yes, Nothing. Again. This is awesome. Love the community. Yeah. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Yeah. Thumbs up, thumbs up. All right. Yes. Angel's Fury, Amy at rope.media. I'm excited to get your email. Right. And Amy Silva, hey.
Yeah, I love you, Amy
Susan
Silva.
Long, hey. Let's do it again in a few months.
Do you guys remember that Romper Room show? That's what it reminds me of. And I see Tara, and I see Angie, and I see Tommy. So 2 things, or three things really fast. 1, Amy at rope.media. Anybody wants to contact us for any reason, voiceovers, stories, anything. Mm-hmm. Buy me a coffee, Velarcana, if you want to support our work at all. And if you want to get a mug with our furry overlord, that's what Vess calls her.
That's what, yeah, he does. Yeah.
Our mascot on it, go to Fourth Wall, Velarcana. That's it.
Thanks, everybody. We do love you.
All right. And I'm going to push this button and watch it not work, right? Hot mic coming, right? You want to see how we really think about